Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're also streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com. All right, my guest this segment is Nick Santiago, President and CEO of In the Money Stocks. Nick, thanks for coming back on the show.
Always great to be back, Michael. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Okay, if we can, I want to start off with this question that we have in the shout box waiting for you. Last time you were on the show talking about a move higher in the TLT. And let me read this question here. It's, let's see. There it is. Nice call, Nick, on the TLT. So far going to the 130. When it gets there, will that be the long-term top for the bond market?
No. Right now, you have to wait a little bit of time. We have to get through this crisis at the moment. And then that will probably be, I would say, a short-term top in the bond market. But I don't think that's going to occur until later this year into the fourth quarter.
Okay. All right. That's good. The next question Nevada's got, and thank you for the question, Nevada, and also guest 6316. But the next question for you before we get into Apple is the 1290 on the S&P. Nevada wants to know if you think it's going to hold, and if so, for how long?
It's going to hold probably until short term, but ultimately that is going to get broken. I think the market right now is setting up building compression down here, and as I was on your show last week, I said that we were at an oversold point in the S&P. So right now it's just a matter of time. It's just buying our time, and then markets ultimately will go lower. Okay. I don't think there's still that much time left, maybe a week or two.
Oh, okay. To ultimately go lower, or to buy the bounce on this thing for a rally of some sort?
Well, we put a couple of trades out on the long side for a bounce, and we've got a couple of longs out there right now. But right now, I'm just waiting for the bounce to end to really get in on the short side again here. Okay,
got it. So then all right, let's flip it then. Nick, if we've got this high that recently hit, it's actually what I did was just a little education for the audience there. I took the high back there at the beginning of May, minus the low, got 38% retracement, gives you 1334, right?
That's correct.
Do you think that 38% retracement, 1334, is something you would consider shorting into?
Depending on how we get into that level, pattern-wise, I think that, or maybe just a touch higher at 1353, 1354 level. I mean, the higher it goes, Michael, the better off it is, because the more downside you're going to see in a faster velocity. So, but we can only trade what the market tells us to trade and what the chart pattern sets up to. But all of those retrace levels are going to be very important. The 382, the 50%, as well as the 618, if the market could even get up there. But we can't rule that out. There is always that chance that it could happen. But depending on the pattern, I like all of those retrace levels.
Okay. Well, as the old saying goes, one day at a time.
That's it. In this market, that's how you have to do it right now, and just watch every chart specifically. And what I do is I tell our members, hey, things can change from day to day. So we just need to watch the charts, interpret them, and when they give us the right signal, the right setup, and that's when we take action.
Got it. All right. Apple.
Yeah, last couple of weeks ago, I think I was on when I was on your program, we had talked about Apple, and what I had said was Apple down at the, I believe it was around 5.25, somewhere there. I said Apple is now oversold, and watch it for a bounce. What I'm telling your subscribers or your listeners now, Michael, is that we've gotten that bounce. Maybe it has a little bit more upside. The 600 is a real pivotal level. Maybe it gets to around 615, 620. And then you start to look for Apple to come back down, as I believe it's going to make a series of lower tops, and that should occur soon. So, by the end of next week, I would start to be really cautious on Apple, on anybody out there with Apple longs. I would start to get a little concerned and start to tighten up the stop losses, because this thing is almost run its course.
Well, then here's another question on that trade. Are you considering this is a trade more in line for writing covered calls, or just get out or short it?
Get out and short it. Forget the covered calls, because
you think it's going
you'll take in some premium, but that's really all you'll do there. Ultimately, I'm looking for these markets to go lower.
Okay, well, that's an important question we need to get out in the air. What kind of strategy?
Is. Okay. Definitely is.
All right, U.S. dollar index. What are you thinking?
Well, the dollar has been just a trailblazer to the upside. I mean, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's exceeded my expectations, and it's moved up with good velocity. The volume has been very good. It's overbought. It's extended. I'd love to see a dollar pullback, maybe into the 81.50 level. Right there, I mean, the dollar is going higher. It's going to $85. So, in my opinion, at least. So, any pullback on the dollar is going to set up for another move up into the 85 level, which ultimately means the dollar goes up, the market goes down.
Okay, so $85 level. Are you thinking that that's going to be kind of because it's almost parabolic now? Do you think that's going to be kind of a capitulation move at that level?
Yeah, I think you could probably watch that 85 level, maybe a pierce of it. I'm not exactly, around that area. I think that's going to be a level where the dollar will need to really work off the excesses because too many people now have jumped on the short euro trade, long dollar. At that stage of the game, I would sit back and wait a while, and then maybe the markets at that point would be able to get a bounce, and the stock, the S&P would get a bounce, and it's just inverse. So after that, ultimately, I think the dollar can go higher in 2012, but the next real big resistance point is going to be 85 for the dollar.
Okay, got it. All right, XOM.
Okay, ExxonMobil used to be the world's largest stock by market cap. But one thing I want to say to your listeners is today you got a big bottoming tail on ExxonMobil. So that stock's oversold. It could be due for just a bounce for a couple of days, and that would be about it. Ultimately, I do think it's headed lower into the $75 area, maybe even a touch lower than that. But right now, Exxon looks like it's due for a little bit of a bounce here. The reason why I bring it up is because it's such a major component of the S&P 500, especially with the big market cap that it has. It's the second largest market cap behind Apple, and it's always a good market barometer. Just like I follow J.P. Morgan, I also tell traders to follow ExxonMobil as well. I just wanted to share that with your listeners.
I'm glad that you did. Now, is there a resistance area that you're thinking about shorting into?
Well, around the $84 area, if it could get up there, looks very intriguing to me. That would be the 50-day moving average on the daily chart, and I think I don't know if it even gets there, but if it does, I think I'll be pulling the trigger on the short there.
Okay. All right. And then WMT, was that Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart. I wanted to discuss Walmart today because that's one of the stocks that have had an amazing move up as the markets have struggled here. And a lot of people, at least in my trading room, have come to me and said, Nick, I want to short this Walmart. And I've said, leave it alone. It's just too strong. The relative strength here is just powerful compared to the major indexes. And Walmart has more upside here. So I think, while Walmart is overbought at the moment, you could see some small pullbacks. I think they're going to be small. Ultimately, this stock wants to go to around the $68, $69 level.
Well, okay, because that is I'm looking at it right now, and that is a huge gap, and then a sudden rally. What caused it? And I know you're a technician, but you got to ask, what caused that massive gap, and then the follow through?
It's anybody's guess, and I guess I'm not smart enough to know what caused it. That's why I use charts. But it's just an amazing move, and this comes after. One thing I've learned a long time ago, Michael, was anytime there's bad news in a stock, and this stock had bribery scandal in Mexico or something like that, it got sold off, and then it reversed that pattern. The best moves come from failed moves, and you got to respect that stock right now.
Would you consider this one of the stronger stocks in America?
I think it's probably one of the best charts out there right now, and it looks like it wants to go to $68. So, yeah, it's a powerhouse. I mean, it's overbought on the daily chart right now, so, it's due for a pullback, but I think it's just going to be a pullback. But this thing is very, very strong. And I'm not – maybe it's just traders getting defensive, and they're buying into Walmart right now as they're getting nervous. There's a lot of different dynamics that could be going on with this stock. But it's a powerhouse right now. I never thought I'd be talking about Walmart like this, but I am.
Okay. All right. Now, you've done a lot of really, and I want to call it sharpshooting, threading the needle in the copper market on this show. Can you give me an idea what your thoughts are there?
Well, I think copper's going down. Downtown Charlie Brown. Right now, it could be due for a short-term bounce, but there's no strength in this market at all. It's in an absolute downtrend. I just don't see a lot of upside. I think traders can continue to just short any bounce or any multi-day rally. Ultimately, copper futures and the JJC, which is one of the exchange, the ETNs that are trading in the market, they can all be sold short. There's no strength here. Ultimately, copper, in my opinion, is going down to the 290 level on the futures. Right now, I know it's holding well above 3, but any kind of a multi-day bounce, this is going back down. There's just no strength in this index. And China, I know they're going to come out with a stimulus plan. All of these stimulus plans right now are going to be short-lived. At the end of the year, 2012, you'll get a good opportunity if you want to own copper. But right now, this is just a very, very weak commodity.
Yeah, you've done a marvelous job on this, calling the markets on our show. I really appreciate that. Before you go, give everybody a way to get into the trading room and watch you pull the trigger on these trades.
Yeah, come on over to InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take a free trial to our research center, which will give you all of our nightly setups. It'll also give you tons of information, our videos. We'll put out a lot of our levels and things that we're looking at in the market. And if you want to come over and if you're a day trader or a scalp trader, please don't hesitate to come over and try our intraday stock chat. You'll get us live all day long from the time the market opens till the time the market closes. And most people that come, believe it or not, they stay a long, long time. And, give it a try. That's all I can tell people. Once you come in, you usually don't go back. You don't leave.
When's your next Saturday all-day webinar?
Well, we just held a webinar, I think it was just a couple weeks ago. So we're going to have another one coming up. Let me give you the exact date on that one. We're going to have another one in the month of June, and I believe right now we're looking at June 23rd, which is a Saturday.
Okay. Just let me know, and I'll send an extra blast out on that for
Excellent,
you.
Michael. Thank you very much.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
Everything.
Thanks, Nick. We'll talk to you soon.
Great day.
All right, everybody. Nick Santiago, President and CEO of InTheMoneyStocks.com. This guy has made some remarkable, and I mean seriously, remarkable calls on this show. Look this guy up. Watch him trade. You will be very, very happy you did.